Hello everyone, it's Mr. Kesnick, working on the next set of videos for you for section 1-4. This is going to be in week 5, I believe. You guys are looking at slope-intercept form of lines. It's called slope-intercept form because this is the slope, m is the slope. Never learned y, m is slope, and b is your y-intercept. Okay, the y-intercept, so if you have a graph, this is your y-axis, this is your x-axis. The y-intercept is where you cross the y-axis. To come up with the equation for it, in this particular example, they're telling you the slope, so this is your m, and this is a coordinate, which is an x and a y. And they want you to come up with an equation that looks like this. So just writing out what we got, y equals mx plus b, I'm going to fill in what I know. I know the y value is 8. You know the slope is 3/2. And there's an implied multiplication here. Your x value is 4. And what you don't have is the y-intercept. You need to find the b. You need to find the y-intercept to be able to finish writing the equation. So 8 equals, if I put this over 1, I can see this reduces. It gives you 2. So 3 times 2 is 6 plus b. Now to solve for b, I need to subtract the 6 from both sides. So 2 is equal to b. So you have to finish writing it by writing y is equal to the original slope, the x is there, plus the y, or the y-intercept, sorry I stumbled there, is 2. That is the equation given this information. This is what your final answer will look like. Okay? Trying this one. Y is equal to mx plus b. They're telling you an x and a y and the slope. So going again, fill in the y. 1/6 times the x value, which is -6, plus b, which you don't know. If I put a 1 over that, again, I can see this fraction reduces, leaves you a -1. So I have -2 is equal to a -1 plus b. To solve for b, I need to get rid of this -1, so I'm going to add it to both sides. So I have -1 is b. So to finish writing it, y is equal to, the slope was a 6, x, and -1. That's your final answer. Okay? Write the equation of the line that goes through this point and has an undefined slope. So to review quick what an undefined slope tells you, so I'm just going to sketch a quick graph. This is the y-axis, this is the x-axis. If it has an undefined slope, it's going to be a vertical line somewhere. And notice it's only crossing the x-axis. It only has the variable for the axis it crosses. So coming back over here, this has a y and it has an x. So wherever that graph is, it's going to cross both axes. It's going to cross the y and the x because it has both variables. So coming over here, if it's an undefined slope, it's automatically vertical, which means it only crosses the x, so it doesn't use this format because this has an x and a y. It only has the variable for the axis it crosses. So it isn't in this format. It's in this format, x equals some number. Well, what's the x value? -4. So your answer is x equals -4. There isn't any arithmetic or algebra to do in this type of problem. You just have to have the understanding that tells you it's vertical, it only crosses the x, this is what the equation will look like, and plug in the x value. Doesn't matter what the coordinate is, 2/3, -1/2, and it has an undefined slope, x equals 2/3. All right? Write the equation of a line that has a slope of 0. So here's a graph. This is your y-axis, this is your x-axis. All lines that have a slope of 0 are horizontal. Notice it only crosses the y-axis. So similar to this, your equation will look like y equals some number. And your y value is -3. So your answer is y equals -3. Again, there's no arithmetic to do here. It's an understanding question. Do you understand if it has a slope of 0, it's horizontal, it only crosses the y, So it looks like y equals some number. And you just pull out the y value, whatever it is. If I use this example up there again, 2/3, -1/2, if it has a slope of 0, then your answer is y equals -1/2, and you're done. No arithmetic. Okay? In the prior examples, they told you the slope, and they told you a point. Here, they're not telling you the slope. So the first thing you need to do is find the slope using this pattern, m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So to find the slope, I'm going to write one over the other, just it helps me line things up. These are your y values, so 3 and 3. Your x values, -4, -7. This goes plus, so I get 0 over -3, which is worth 0. And we just got done saying, if it has a slope of 0, it's a horizontal line. All horizontal lines, the equation looks like y equals some number. Well, what's the y value? 3. If you run into problems where you notice the y values are the same, you can just jump straight to the answer, y equals 3. Okay, because every single time you do it, you're going to get a slope of 0. So if you can predict that behavior, you can just jump straight to this. Okay, this one, find the slope first. So 4 and 7 are up above. Find the slope. Y is on top. X is on the bottom. So you get 6 over 6, so the slope is 1. Now, you can pick either point. So I'll use the point -2, 1 first. I know m is 1, and the point is this. So filling in what I know into this, I've got 1 is equal to 1 times -2 plus b. So that's 1 is equal to -2 plus b. Add the 2 to both sides. B is equal to 3. So your final answer is y is equal to 1x plus 3. Do you have to write the 1? No, you don't. It's okay if you do, but it's optional. When your slope is 1, it's optional whether you write it because there's an implied 1 that's here. Now, what if you had chosen to use this point, 4, 7, and your slope is 1? Fill in what you know into y equals mx plus b. 7 is equal to 1 times 4 plus b. 7 is equal to 4 plus b. Subtract the 4. 3 is equal to b. Notice you get exactly the same y-intercept. It doesn't matter which point you use. Once you find the slope, choose either point. Okay, this one. First thing you do is find the slope. So the y is on top, x is on the bottom, that goes plus. So I get 3 over 0, which is undefined. And you go, okay, wait a minute. What kind of line had an undefined slope? Vertical. And what we said earlier, all vertical lines have the format x equals some number. And notice the x is the same in both of them. If you could predict the x is same in both of them, you should know that it has an undefined slope, which means it's vertical, which means it's x equals some number, and your answer is x equals -1. So if you see that the x values are the same, you don't have to go through the work of finding the slope. You can just go, oh, I know my slope is undefined, and just write the answer. Thank you for your time. Much appreciated.